Texas queso. First of all, I don't know if it's a Texas thing or a South thing necessarily to use Velveeta in all of your quesos, but today we're going to be making it from scratch. The processed cheese in Velveeta, while it still has a smoothness, I don't know if you realize whenever you leave it out for a while how gummy and how hard it can get, and it's kind of gross. So I'm going to show you a better, flavorful, a smoother way of making a queso. So today I'm going to go ahead and show you the ingredients and the prep work that you're going to need to gather while we're getting ready here. First, you're going to need a crock pot or a saucepan. I use a crock pot just because of the it's a lot easier to use rather than the saucepan because you don't have to stay at the stove. And a crock pot, you can turn it on low or high, throw your ingredients in there and just kind of let it do its thing by itself, you know. So next you're going to need a cheese grater, and you can have a hand grater if you need, or you can use a food processor. Usually food processors are a little expensive, especially if you're on a budget. Fortunately, I got to borrow this one from somebody, so it takes a lot of the prep time. It cuts it in half, so you're going to want to cut as much time, you know, as possible. Some of the ingredients that you're going to need are 2 or 3 blocks of extra sharp cheddar, 1 block of Monterey Jack, and I went ahead and said 2 or 3 blocks of extra cheddar to cut some of the sharpness out. I went ahead and got Colby Jack cheese, and that's just something that it just makes it a lot easier on your taste buds, I guess. Like, I don't know exactly if you're a big fan of extra sharp flavor, but it's something that I use to kind of smooth it out. Also, you're going to need a 1/4 cup to 3/4 cup of whole milk, a tablespoon of cornstarch, and a can of your favorite type of Rotel. So to get started, you're going to need to grate your cheese in the food processor, and you may be asking why you shred your own cheese instead of just buying bag cheese from the store. And to put it simply, the cheese that you buy in the store, it comes with a lot of cellulose on it, and cellulose is an additive that whenever you put it on cheese, I don't know if you've ever gotten like an off-brand kind of cheese and you open it up and there's that white powder on it. Well, that's the additive they use so that whenever it's sitting on shelves, it doesn't clump up and it doesn't go bad. So this does not have an additive in it, and this is just good old cheese. So you're going to want to repeat this step for every block of cheese you have. And to kind of take a little bit, like I was talking about earlier, take kind of some of the sharp taste out of it. You can always leave a little bit of the sharp cheddar out so that there's not such a harsh taste. All right, well, we're going to stop right here, and we're going to get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back in a few minutes, guys.
Look, Marge, Armory Flea Market, Tyler Fairgrounds, and it looks like the humans are going. Yippee! Let's go too! Are we there yet? Calm down, Marge. Aw, darn.
The Armory Flea Market has something for everyone. Well, almost everyone.
Where we left off a while ago with getting the cheese ready to put into the queso. So as we're getting this ready, we're going to go ahead and add our Monterey Jack. To the mixture. And yeah, this does get a little bit messy. I should have mentioned that. But once you get all of your cheese in, you can go to the next step. And this is kind of important. This is adding in the cornstarch. The cornstarch is going to act like a thickener so that whenever you get it cooking and everything, it's going to really thicken it up so that it's not so, I mean, you may like it a little thin, you know, to put it over some kind of entree or like some kind of dinner or something. And you can do that for sure. But whenever you're making it for, you know, parties, get-togethers, whatever, people coming over to watch the game, it's something that, you know, you're going to want it kind of hearty. So once you put the cornstarch in, you're going to want to toss the cheese and try to coat it as best as you can. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, obviously. And once you get it tossed pretty decently, you can set that to the side for now. And then we can go ahead and get our milk ready. And I said earlier, you can use 1/4 cup of milk up to, you know, a cup of milk if you like to. The directions say to use 1/4 cup of milk. I actually use 1/2 cup because 1/4 cup just made it a little too thick, and anything more than 1/2 cup made it almost like a soup. So, like I said, if you're using it for anything other than on top, you know, using it for a dip or something like that, then. All right, once you get your milk in, you can go ahead and start tossing that. All right, and once you have your cheeses ready, you're done with the hard part. So we'll set that to the side. And this is the point where you go ahead and add the cheese and everything to your crock pot mix. And it gives it, or it takes a little bit of time, of course. Like, don't fret whenever it takes a long time for the cheese and everything to melt down, because since this is the more natural way, it's going to take a while and it's going to act a little clumpy, especially with the cornstarch in it. So you're just going to have to give it a little bit more time and a little bit more effort of stirring it and making sure that the consistency ends up to being some kind of smooth texture, because that's basically what you're going to want. So at this step, you would go ahead and normally put it into the crock pot and let it heat up on low, stirring pretty, I would say, I guess, every few minutes or so. And this is about the time that you would add in the Rotel. Now, the Rotel, I went ahead and got original. I'm not a big spice person. You can throw in hot Rotel, you can throw in fresh jalapenos, you can throw in cilantro, anything to knock the spice level up. But you're going to want to also keep the juices. You do want to put the juices in there. So once you add the Rotel in, the end product is a very smooth, rich queso that I think you're really going to like. And like I said, it does take a few minutes for the cheese to actually melt down this much. You can add more cornstarch, more milk if you want, anything to kind of get it to the right level that you want. You can even add in some ground beef. You can throw in some diced chicken or anything, any way you want to do it. So I really hope this is something that will really be a good crowd pleaser whenever you have friends coming over. So thanks for tuning in, and I guess we'll see you next time.